this presentation is being recorded now, Jess, but
But I do
everyone
see it
who,
at the bottom.
okay. So we're rolling right here. Everyone, thank you so much for joining us on this day after a long weekend. I know some of you feeling a little bit tired. Hopefully you got to get out, at least maybe fake it. I don't know. Are you allowed out yet in New York? Are you still, Jess, are you still tied up there?
No, but allegedly later in the week. So we'll see how that all plays out.
So joining us today from the hotbed of Corona is Jess Todtfeld. He's our media go-to guy. A lot of you who have been with me a number of years know Jess from, he's done a lot of things with us and given us some really good insights into how to get media attention. It may not be as difficult as you think. I mean, how many of you in this room right now have heard somebody posited as an expert, positioned as an expert on TV, and you thought to yourself, well, heck, I know more about that subject than that person. How did they get there? How did they get picked over me? I mean, how do I get myself in the on the radar of these media people that make these decisions, these producers? Well, Jess is the perfect person to tell you. Not only is he a media trainer and has been for a number of years, he's a former television producer. He probably sold stuff at Times Square. I don't know what other jobs he's held over the years. We don't know. We don't necessarily want to know, but he's done a lot with media. He knows a lot of people, and he also holds a Guinness World Record, which he'll tell you about later. And without any further ado, let's bring on Jess Todtfeld to tell us how we get the media to pay attention to us. Now, if you're on this call, by the way, I want to mention you don't have to be a financial service professional. I invited a lot of people. I just noticed in my attendance list that many of you are in insurance and financial services. So we kind of skewed it that way. But if you're in another business, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're a small business owner, then this is great for you as well. So come on in, Jess, or we're in your house. So yeah,
All right.
go
Yes,
for it.
welcome, everybody. It's great to be here. I said I made it really easy. I'm trying to make it easy for people. I mean, there are pieces to each step I'm going to walk you through, and you're going to love it. But I said, why would I make it less easy? That'd be silly. So let's jump over here. And here's one of the things that I think some of you would benefit from, and it's social proof. This is one of the reasons why we do this. So on my headshot, we have over there logos of media outlets that have featured me in some way. And what does that do for me? What can it do for you? Instant credibility. Sharing this thing is visibility when it's seen different places. And I'm going to talk about the ways to properly share. You don't have to feel, like you're patting yourself on the back. Third-party credibility, that social proof, as they call it, by a media outlet saying that you are the real deal. And it's something that really can help you to grow your business if people see that. The way I see it is it tightens the loop. And I want to answer the question of, Jess, I'm not sure how I can get, media, or I can get business when someone sees an interview and then next thing you know, they're working with me. So over the time here, I'm going to explain how this all works. But one of the ways is it tightens the loop in the sales process. So when they're in that phase of deciding, do they like, know, and trust you, they see those logos and say, oh, well, those people seem to like, know, and trust this person, and maybe they'll take a next step, and ideally they will. All right, I always like to start with a promise. So my promise today is I'm going to get specific. I'm going to tell you exactly what works. And I know what works because I set a Guinness record. It's over my shoulder behind me. I'm going to talk about it, but really the campaign that went. But I'm going to get specific, and I want to answer any of your questions. So in the time allotted, Tammy, I'm probably not going to be good at monitoring the chat or the questions.
No, I'll do it.
But if you see something really good, keep an eye over there. But my promise is to get specific and to be of help. I'm not going to play it so much because it's choppy, but there's a whole little cool video. I was a TV producer. I've been a host. Let's see if I could take it out of, can you see me over there,
Yeah, yeah,
right now? If I just
I
go,
can, I can still see you. You got it.
you can, okay, or it goes back to that other thing. All right, well, I've been a TV producer, I've been a host. My only thing in Times Square was interviewing people. I wasn't with a jacket selling fake watches. That's mainly in the movies. I guess maybe it was real at some point. I don't know. And now I help other people to get media and to get press
I
and
think
lots of
they're out there
attention.
selling other things now, aren't they, Jess?
Maybe,
Yeah.
although some of those things are now being sold and regulated by the government. What are we talking about? Anyway, back to this. Um, let's just address some myths. So here's some myths when it comes to media attention: that you must already be an established expert. I'm going to tell you how you can break through. You don't have to be, an established expert. That you already have to have a media in. I'm going to show you why you don't need a media in, and how I set a Guinness record not having that. That you have to have books and you have to, already have all these credentials to line you up. You don't. So good news, you can break through. So I'm going to use my story as a little example just to kick it off, and then I'm going to talk about other folks. So yes, I set a Guinness record for what, Jess? Thanks for asking. It was not eating the most spaghetti in a single sitting. I don't know if I can go after that one. Thankfully for me, it was in a communication category. It was publicity. So it was the most interviews given in 24 hours. I still hold it 10 years later. It was 112 different radio stations for the record. I also did quite a bit of TV and print in this big promotion that I did. So very quickly here, and let's see, Tammy, if I take it out of, let's see here. Oops, no, I turned off my camera. If I take it off, I'm trying to make myself full screen so I can feel like I'm closer to everybody.
Well,
Did I do that, or I'm
well,
basic?
I don't know, but they have control over making you full screen, and it's up in the
Oh, there
right.
you go. Make me full
Yeah,
screen
yeah.
right now. We'll go back to the presentation.
So if you want
So
to,
you
it's up
double
there on the
click.
right hand side, everybody.
I just
It,
want, okay,
yeah.
this way I could feel like I'm closer to everybody.
So it's
And I'm
okay.
gonna, so double click and make it full screen. Who knows what it'll look like on a replay. But while I'm telling you about my Guinness record, here's what I'm gonna do. Tammy brought this up when we were waiting to go, and she was talking about some people who go on, Zoom and webinars. And okay, guys, all right, mainly guys. Some women don't necessarily wear makeup, but how to look much better. Should we wear makeup? So while I'm talking, and I'm gonna let's see, make sure I can see myself. I'm going to tell my story, and I'm going to put on a little
You
bit
need
of
a
basic
makeup mirror. That's what
foundation.
we gals use. Okay, you need a makeup mirror all the time with you.
Well, I thought I could see myself, but I can't, so I'm using my cell phone down over here. But the good news, I can do this in less than 60 seconds. So here's what I'm looking for. I'm looking. You mentioned it. The 5 o'clock shadow. I shaved only a couple of hours ago, and shininess and looking like I'm exhausted. Maybe I am exhausted, but I slept all right last night. And let's see here. Splotchiness, shininess. I have a fancy TV light over there. So all we want is to match our skin tone and not look like we didn't sleep last night. And I know many ladies, not all women, know a little bit more about the magic of makeup. But for all of your Zoom calls, and whoops, I just dropped my little sponge here on the floor. I just made a mark on the rug. Oops. And I was saying, when you know the magic of makeup, and here's our whole only thing that we want. We
Whoa,
just want,
whoa, transformation, baby.
is
Yeah,
it?
yeah, yeah.
All right. I'm doing my best trying
Oh,
to talk
dudes,
and look at myself.
you men should do this all the time, huh?
Well, it's funny you say that because I did this once and my wife saw me do it. And she doesn't usually see me do it. And she said out loud, "Wow, you should wear makeup all the time." So that was encouraging for me personally. Anyway, The idea here is we want to look our best so people pay attention. They're not looking at whatever stuff. And you know what? We feel better. So just a little media training bonus for all of you guys today, all of you folks today. Here's what I'm going to share, a little bit about my backstory. So I was a TV producer for 13 years on the national level. I worked at ABC, NBC, and Fox. I had some little stints where I did some on-air stuff as a host and as a reporter, but mainly as a producer. I left in 2007 and I started a training business, and it's become a little bit bigger. And now we offer publicity for a few specific types of folks. And when I left, I realized, oh, I got to write books and I got to do all these things because I could never, you got to have all these credentials. And I was telling you in the beginning, you don't have to have all these things. But I went and I wrote a few books. And when I was promoting one of them in 2010, I set this record. And the reason why I set the record was I had a friend who challenged me, said, you're the media guy. I hope you do this bigger than anybody else. And next thing you know, I set this record. But here's what happened. After setting this record and getting all these interviews, people started saying, great, that's wonderful. Can you help me do this? And I said, at the time, my business was just pure training for how to be on camera, working with PR companies, publicity, public relations companies, on showing them what I learned and what they can do. But at the time, I wasn't providing it for other folks. And I said, I'll just show I'll show you how to do it. I couldn't do everything at once, and there were a few problems with that PR business that I didn't like that we've since solved. So let's go back and show the presentation. So here we go. So if you double click, I think it'll show my face and the slides, the other stuff. So here's what I want to show you. Let's make sure I can click. Okay, so I'm going to do a little case study right now. I'm going to show you how one email sent twice gave me almost 50 newspaper coverage from 50 newspapers. It was like 2 under 50. How did we do it? Let me tell you right now. All right. So, but I want to just ask you this one question, which is this, as I lean in. Before we do any campaign, we need to ask ourselves this: what do you want? What do you want to make happen as a result of interviews? So is it that you want to create more business? Do you want to build your personal brand? Maybe you want to put the right stories out there, have the right stories in the news. I call it Save the World, which is you always say, I wish people would talk about this. Maybe it's all three. Whichever one it is, put it in the chat right now. I actually want to interact with you on here. So put it in the chat. And I know we have questions and we have chat, and I have it where I can now, looks like I should be able to see the chat. And let's make it where I can also see the screen. Okay, put it in the chat. I'm waiting. I'm not going to move forward. I want to know in the chat, do you want
I'm gonna call out
and let's hope that
Chuck and say, Chuck, what do you want to do with this? Chuck just wants to be famous.
I want to know, you're looking, we need to know, you showed up here today. Do you want to grow more business? You're trying to build your personal brand?
Oh, wait, I got one. Okay. Dave.
Save the world, yes.
Our Dave Barr. Okay, Dave wants more business and he wants to build his brand, and Dave is in financial services, by the way.
Boom. Good job, Dave. Anybody else? I know this is, we have so many of these things thrown at us, webinars, and this is why I said this is a training. I'm going to get specific.
Jim right Ashley now also wants to do the same thing. Grow the business. Jim Ashley wants to grow his financial business, and
nice
Jim. And we have a Save the World person too, Stephen Holmes. He wants to keep families from getting mired down in probate. Oh, nobody wants to be there. So yeah,
yes.
So good.
Awesome, very cool. Okay, so that's it. We have to know what do we want? Why are we doing this? And once we do that, now we can get a campaign started. So I'm going to share my secrets for getting publicity. My wife always says, I always call them secrets. And she said, if you tell everybody, is it still a secret? It is. Other people don't know it, but you guys will know my secrets. So here's number one of the 3 steps. Here we go. Number 1, get media. Go get yourself some media attention. All right, good night, everybody. No, there's more. I'm going to explain how you get media. All right, so here's how we do it. So press releases, they don't work. Sorry. Forget press releases. You've all heard, oh, I want to get media, I need a press release. Nope. The reason, you may notice that looks a little blurry, those words on the left there. There's a good reason for it. That's what it looks like on the receiving end. I was a producer for 13 years, and every day releases and releases and releases, and people just go on and on and on. You know, I notice a lot of articles that I get now on the internet, they say, you know, this will be a 12-minute read. What do you think if there was a producer and they kept saying, this is a 15-minute read, this is a 12-minute read, this is a 9-minute, they would never get anything done. So they have to use that little button on their computer, delete, 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 and they don't read half these because they don't get to the point. So I'm going to show you a better way. All right, forget press release. I want you to think pitch email. Pitch email. And I'm going to give you a little case study. I was just thinking in my head, I told the couple of people who showed up early I was going to give them something special. You know what it is. So you guys will have to email me and I'll give it to you at the end. Okay, so here's an actual pitch email that I sent and something cool happened after. So the subject line is the most important thing in your email. So I was speaking at an event about, it was actually an event for speakers and people who appear at conferences on how to get media attention. Of course, that's what I've been talking about. Right? I talk about all the time. And I was thinking, oh, you know, it'd be awesome. It'd be awesome if I showed how to set up the pitch email and I could say it worked because there's a reporter in the back. So here's what happened. Subject line is the most important. We want them to open the email. RE in reference to. It kind of looks like there's a back and forth, but I learned this from someone who did it to me. RE, and then they say something interesting. So who will be, the real pitch is actually, you could see in the email, who will be the next Dr. Phil or Judge Judy? And my point was, who will be the next big thing? So I wrote the next Dr. Phil, because we want to keep it tight so that the media folks will open up your email and they'll be intrigued. And then in parentheses, I have here NSA story pitch. NSA, the people who listen in on us? No, the people who are from the National Speakers Association, which was the event. So did it get more opens? Yes. Now in the email, very important, it should always say hi and their name. So you could use certain mass email tools to be able to send one email and have it go to a whole mess of media folks. And then, but if it doesn't say hi and their first name, if it doesn't say, hi, Jim, wanted to know to see if you wanted to do this story, Jim will know it was just spam and just thrown out there. So it says, want to see if you want to do a story on this. And then quickly it gets to the point and it says, hey, who will be the next Dr. Phil or Judge Judy? I'll scroll up here. Underneath bullet points on what's happening. So top motivational speakers and corporate trainers were all coming to this conference, and they're going to hear not only what I was going to say, but there were a couple of semi-celebrity types that were going to be there. And you scroll down, and that is the only email that I sent out. I sent it out once. In fact, I have a media list of 6,000 media outlets, and I said, I'm just going, it's just in New York. I waited until 2 days before. I'm just going to send it out to my New York media list of like 150 people, and let's see what happens. Well, here's what happened. One outlet showed up. It was the New York Times. That's right. Not too bad, not too shabby. So not only did I get myself in the New York Times, and there is the image of the.
Yeah, but did you get any real news outlets?
What is that?
I said yes.
Yeah,
but
yes.
You got the Times, but did you get any real newspapers? Come on. Yeah.
It still looks very cool. I know in the current situation, I'm going to keep all politics out of it. It's still very cool when you get to have Wall Street Journal or New York Times, or I'm going to talk about some cool ones that are behind me. But you get the point. So she showed up, and I was able to get 9 of the other people who were friends of mine into the story because I said to the reporter, hey, come here. But it all came down to the email, the subject line being most important. I'm going to go deeper on this. Subject line, and then the headline in there, hi first name. These are all ingredients, and the bullet points. So again, we have to be thinking, what is the destination? What am I doing with this? So there's social proof. You can put it on the images next to you. And I'm going to talk about a few places that we can share. It's on the wall behind me. I got to bring it up today, but I want to keep this thing moving and show you exactly what stories make the media perk up. And you know what, Tammy, to your point, if we want more of the right stories out there, then we should be pitching them the right stories, not a press release, a pitch email. So what stories do they want? Let's take a look over here. You can take your phone out and take a picture of the screen because they're right there. I boiled it down, made it easy. So outlets want something that matches their audience. If they're a hard news show, they want hard news. If they're a morning news show, they want a little bit of fluff and maybe a little bit of politics and maybe some money stories and maybe some stories that are news you can use, as you see in there, or news tie-ins. So a number of my clients who have stories that are not normally COVID related have just been getting booked like crazy because we took a 5% tweak on what it is that they say, and we had a news tie-in. So if you're a financial service professional, is there something special people should be thinking about? And at this time of crisis, should they be going back and making sure they have their financial affairs in order? Yeah, well, they should always have them in order, but sometimes we need a crisis to remind us. Something surprising, something shocking, different. Let's see here, local, local loves local. We've actually been having a lot of luck with our media ambassadors. That's what we call the folks that we put out there in the media, with local, not only in their area, but all across the country. Now that everybody has moved to being on Skype and Zoom and WebEx, they've been saying yes to television all around the country and all these different little local markets. It's fantastic. And the last one there, stories where journalism or work is done for them. So the easier you are to work with, light bulb, the more they'll want to work with you because you do work for them, meaning that you give them a bunch of facts, or hey, here's an image, a still or an image on this, or hey, I can get you some bullet points on what I would say. Just the easier you are to work with, the better. All right, let's take it one step further. What stories don't they want? Something that seems too self-serving. If you said, this is a press release of my restaurant and it's opening, you're like, okay, why do I care about it? It's opening and it says for immediate release, everybody. And is there a charity tie-in? Is there something interesting? No. Okay, well then it's just self-serving. A press release would know what's in it for them. They need to know, how are they helping their viewers or listeners or readers? Something that doesn't even match their outlet. Maybe they're a sports show and you're pitching, how to not be stuck in probate. Well, the sports show doesn't care unless a professional athlete just made that mistake, and it's something we can all learn. Then you figured it out. Then you learned how to make it work. Something confusing. Show your pitch email to somebody else. Did you ever read a first draft of something you wrote and you said, I don't even know what I'm talking about. I better go back through this, show it to somebody else, which leads into the next one. It makes somebody seem flaky when they're like all over the place. Show it to them. It'll usually be better. A story that's too difficult or requires too much work. Yes, we don't want to make it so hard that there's so many layers. There are a lot of ways to make it easy. And they won't do a story if they haven't even read your email. That's why what I was talking about before is so important, that subject line. So here is your next lesson in Get Media. I'm showing you exactly what I do, what we do with our clients to get media, when I said the Guinness record, but also all the folks that we've been helping to get on Entrepreneur, in Entrepreneur Magazine and Fast Company and Inc. and ABC, NBC, Fox, CBS, all that cool stuff. Think of it this way. You need a hook to reel them in. Let's reel them in. So it's a question or a headline. I know I wrote it the other way, headline or question, same thing, that makes them want to do this story. So let me tell you the super secret Jess way to come up with hooks. You know, you're sitting there in your silo all by yourself and you say, well, how do I come up with these to put them in the subject line so that they say yes? Funny you should ask. Here's what I do. I go to Google and I type in a keyword, and we'll have to do yours next, which is, for some of you, it's financial. But I just talked to some estate planners, so I'm going to show you this one. And get your pens out, because I'm going to show you how you can come up with hooks even when it's about these folks. So you type it in, but you want to click the news tab instead of the web tab. So it's just searching news stories. And we're going to use this for idea generation and coming up with hooks. So here's what we see. CNBC did a story on steer clear of the 8 biggest estate plan mistakes. Here's what I want you to write down. Steer clear of the 8 biggest blank mistakes. Maybe there are 5 mistakes. Maybe there are 7. Maybe there are 147. That's probably too many. Steer clear of the blank biggest mistakes. Saying blank too many times. But you're putting in your topic. Is there a, just like there's estate planning week, is there a week around what it is that you do? I know we have CPAs. Maybe you know, tax time is all over the place this year. It was pushed ahead, and who knows what that's setting off. Is there some sort of financial week that you know about? Avoid the headaches of blank. Forget estate planning down there at the bottom or towards the bottom. Put in your topic. Avoid the headaches of probate, not craziness. What is it? Trouble. There we go. There's a word. So what you're doing is you could even use other stories that come up with your angle. Women cautioned on estate planning, whatever that's about. How about you take a specific group cautioned on blank? So just to use the probate one, and other folks, put your topic in the chat. Put your topic in the chat. So I'll use you as the example. Why wouldn't I? That'd be silly not to. Blank group, millennials cautioned on filling out your taxes this year. Holy cow, what? Millennials, they'd be picked.
Women, yeah, there's a couple of people that work with women-specific financial topics.
Great. Women cautioned on putting your will together this year.
Or I'm not having a will.
That's true. You know, so we can tweak. This is giving us all the ideas for the hooks. I'm going to look at the bottom here. Avoid common mistakes in blank planning. Fill in your blank. Put your thing in there. And Tammy, I don't know if I can see the full chat. So if somebody else has their topic in there, let me know and I'll include it. I'm going to just jump ahead.
Has a digital marketing topic.
Oh, digital marketing. Good. And you said it's Jill. So let's take one of these things. Digital Marketing 101. And now look at the bottom over there. Instead of how to divide your money, why you're leaving money on the table. Huh? I want to know why. I don't want to leave money on the table. We don't like the sound of that. Let's just do this real fast. It's a fun game, searching the Google News for the word financial. So what comes up? Let's see, why the stock, by the way, I searched for this an hour before today's live training. Why the stock market is outperforming the economy. Could you pitch that? So even though Yahoo Finance did it, I'm saying we're pitching it elsewhere. And we can tweak the words, but ultimately this is just in a pitch email. They will come up with their own headline. So we don't have to worry like, oh no, am I plagiarizing something? No, the whole idea of what you'd say on that is all of what you'd say. You want to change a couple words, change a couple words. But we're using this for idea generation. USA Today said, think you're ready for retirement? Here are 4 financial milestones to check for. Fantastic. What's your version of that? Think you're ready or not ready for blank? And let's see here, the digital marketing one. 4 financial milestones for digital marketing professionals. How about why If digital marketing, let's have this one. If digital marketing is not part of your plan, you plan to fail. How about that? Write that one down, Jill.
Here's one.
Uh,
Why digital marketing outperforms traditional marketing every time.
Write that one down. We're saying it too fast for Jill. She's looking for a pen. All right, these money and investing tips can help you navigate financial markets as economies reopen. What version of that could you create? I'll show you the last couple of ones here and we'll move on to the next thing. But I'm showing you that the ideas for the hook are out there. So you're going to take a hook and you're going to put it into the email. This is how this thing works.
And just the observation is here, the point that you're making, without specifically stating it, is that journalists are no less immune to clickbait or curiosity invoking things than the rest of us. In other words, no matter how objective they are, they're still human and they're still going to be intrigued by.
Yes, you are right. In fact, Jill probably just light bulb went off and she realized, holy cow, all this digital marketing stuff that I already know would work on the media. Yes, Jill. Very cool. Let's see here. Pandemic personal finance updated 10-point checklist. Maybe you have your 10-point checklist that you can work into the whole pandemic thing. And I know we probably have some CPAs who are on the line too. So I figured, why not pull, I took the word financial and CPA and I searched the Google News. As financial crimes grow during the pandemic, I didn't even know about financial crimes that are happening, let alone growing. Accounting groups address key piece of AML action. I don't care about that second part. You would put in your second part. How about what to do with your stimulus check? How about what you shouldn't do with your stimulus check? Right? There's some exciting ones here. And then blank percent of investors think blank. You put, again, we're using this for idea generation. All right, so I said the step was get media. I have the last piece of this to share on the pitch email. And the pitch, they called that because it's like you're throwing something out, even though when most people do it, it's like they're throwing spaghetti at the ceiling. We could make it better than throwing spaghetti at the ceiling. It would be more focused. So I said that the old school pitch doesn't work. And I want to show you some actual pitches that came to me when I was a TV producer. I have changed the names to protect the innocent, but I want you to learn from them. So I said the hook goes in the subject line. Is the US headed for similar merger with Canada and Mexico? Huh? Similar? Who merged? What? I was thrown off. And then they fill the first eyeful. And Jill, give me an amen if you agree on this for some digital marketing. This is more like email marketing. Why would I fill the first eyeful with for immediate release? And here is my phone number. And here's my email address, even though I just emailed you. And here's all a bunch of stuff that you don't care about. Put that at the bottom. Jill, if you agree, either put an amen or say, tell me something else that you feel. Here comes another email. AMA policy making meeting begins first day of voting. Okay, so here's what I'm wondering on the receiving end as a media person. The AMA, is it the American Medical Association? Is it the American Management Association? The American Marketing Association? I'm already confused. And of course they open with, for immediate release, there's no hi Jess, delete. And there's no what's in it for me. They're beginning their first day of voting. About what, huh? Confused. Confused mind always says no, as they say in the sales world. Media Matters, this is the subject line, Media Matters by Jameson Foster. Okay, so it was a book. They literally took a press release and they just pasted it in and just said, here, you figure it out. It's a book, okay? Go do a story on it because it's a book. No, I'm already not paying attention. Now they start to get better. Subject line, cheerleader crash, race car drivers teach teens and parents street safety. Now it opens with good morning instead of hi Jess. So not as great, but I saw this and I was thinking, okay, would they send a NASCAR driver to our studio? Yes, they would. And they did. So we booked it. So in the subject line, I was already thinking about how this could work for me and for my audience. This next one, notice the subject line, RE, in reference to, this is the first email this guy sent me. For Jess, he put my name in the subject line. You can do this yourself, and it works. Then he wrote, visual unique hit. That's exactly what we want when we're a TV outlet. Taser launches consumer handheld device. So here's what I know. It's going to be visual. I want it to be an amazing segment. So I picked up the phone. I called this guy and I said, well, you said it's going to be visual. Can we tase somebody? So he said, oh, hold on one second. Put his hand over the phone. Comes back and he says, Jess, my business partner is willing to be tased. And we brought this guy on, this poor guy, and he said, like, there he is, my business partner. He's standing 20 feet away. All right, get ready. And the poor guy was standing there like, I don't know why I'm doing this. And then they gave it to him, and he fell to the ground, and he was sweating profusely for 2 days. Fantastic for us because I was not the one getting tased. It was wonderful. So they like unique and visual. That's something that works. So I'm showing you the subject line. Here it is again. Now here's an email I sent out for a friend who's a memory expert. So I'm introducing you to one other piece for the email here. I call this above the line, below the line. When you have all that stuff that would have been in a press release, I mean the paragraphs of more of what this is about, you draw a line. I just take the equals button and I draw a line, and you put it all underneath. And then you want something short above it. I'm going to show you how this has gotten shorter. So the subject line, most important, RE, thought this memory expert would be good radio. So this guy's, I sent this just to my list of 2,000 radio outlets. So Mark, I think this guy would be great for you. He's a world record setting memory expert. You can give your listeners tips on how to remember where to put your keys, or how memory tips can help you keep your job in an up or down economy. And I said a couple of other things, and I ended with a yes or no question. Any interest? I've since changed that to, does this work with you? That got him one email got him 8 media requests, and he did 8 shows. Here is the template. Take your phone out. Take your phone out. This is the Guinness record setting template that I continue to use on our clients right now, our media ambassadors who go out there, that's what we call them, who go out there and speak to the press. We send an email where the subject line is most important. So it's a hook in the subject line. That when we have RE, hospitals save money, you might pay with your life. Uh-oh, what is that about? I don't want to die. I better open this email. And then we open it up. It says, hi, first name. This is how simple it's gotten over the years. Would the story below work for you, Jess? Now they're like, what story? So then we have a headline, a subhead, who it is. So we have the what, which is the headline, the story. We have a what, we have a who, and then what they could say in bullet pointed form. Then you could put that other stuff even further down. That works because the media person doesn't need 12 minutes to read a story, to figure out what you're all about. They knew they liked it because they opened it. Then they saw the headline again, know who's available, and what you'd say. It works. It's fantastic. And I'm going to just scroll up. Then all the way at the bottom, now let's put the contact information on there so that people can, if they like it, now they can go scroll down. They know that they can scroll down for contact info or hit reply. It's pretty simple. All right. Very quick case study before I give you number 2, which is, you may remember, by the way, is this helpful, everybody? Put in the chat a why if this is helpful. All right.
Oh my gosh, I know a lot of this already, and it's extremely helpful to me, Jess. So
this
yes.
Email system works even when you're not doing media outreach. When you have a really strong subject line and you say hi first name and you get to the point and have bullet points, it really, really works. So put why on there if this is helpful for you. All right, let's see. Here's a little case study. You may remember at one of our New York Congress people, Anthony Weiner. We're so proud. Anyway.
Yeah, I got a lot of mileage out of that one. Yeah.
Yes, yes, the late night comedians did too. He was in the news a couple of years ago. You may have missed it because he decided to become a photographer. That's right. He was taking pictures for the internet, and we don't need to go into what that's about. But he was in the news, and some people said to me, "Hey, Jess, as a communication consultant, are you going to go out and talk about it?" And at first I said, "I don't know if I want to be attached to this guy," but then I thought about it a little bit more. And I realized career opportunity. Okay, let's do this thing. Why not? Let me use it as another test to go out and get lots of press and show people how it works. So here's the email that went out. Subject line says most important. Ari, in reference to Wiener Fallout. By the way, that was, I swear to you, it was an unintended pun. I didn't even realize until I started showing this to audiences. But it was the fallout. It had just happened, and what's the fallout going to be? You get it. Anyway, I really didn't know. People kept come up to me after speeches and said, "Did you not really know?" I'm telling you. Why would I not tell you the truth? It's silly. Wiener Fallout, available media consultant. Okay, in the subject line, we know the story, which this was a breaking news story, and who is available, a media consultant explained. And all I did, and I should have followed my own template, but I wasn't really using the template like I do now. And I basically had a short thing. Hey, if you're looking for a media consultant to provide quotes, let me know. Here are a few things I would say. Then bullet points on just awesome quotes. Here is the one that the media loved. Can he repair his image? And there are some, I teach how to use sound bites to make it come together. And it's using a rhetorical question. He can never truly get past this story. Speak in absolutes. Ooh, he's mortally wounded his political career as bold action, but it doesn't mean he can't star in a reality show or host a program on CNN. And that was a little conflict quote because CNN had just hired Elliot Spitzer, who had a sex scandal. And back then, if you had a sex scandal, they would give you a show. Now they take it away. So things have changed a little bit. Okay, so they loved that quote. And what happened next? Boom, the Washington Post said, that's it. We're going to use that quote. Let's put you in. Then the Washington Times called up and said, can you just say the thing that you said in your email? And I said it, and they're like, yep, that's good. Then the Philadelphia Inquirer picked it up. What I didn't know about the Philadelphia Inquirer is they syndicate. Boom, 15 more newspapers picked it up. And then a bunch of others started picking up, and I said, you know, what if I resent the email and just pushed it down and said, wasn't sure if you saw this the other day. Well, then they all started piling up, and we started getting hit after hit after hit. You see them there: Forbes, Dallas News, Vancouver Sun, Atlantic, Financial Times. And by the time it was done, it was almost 50 newspapers. I sent one email and then sent it a second time and just said, wasn't sure if you saw this. Is that cool? So again, I want this for you. I want you to be able to use it. And you got to keep your ears open, by the way, because if they say something about you, you want to use it. The Washington Post said Jess is a media training expert. That's on the back cover of one of my books. The Washington Times said in one of those articles, the public relations mavens weigh in. Jess Todtfeld says, well, guess what? Now I use that in introductions for speeches when they introduce me and put it in there whenever it's relevant. So again, you need a pitch hook and you need the right email so that we can make some things happen. That worked for this. Now I'm just going to give you a couple quick examples as we move into number 2. Text neck. It's not a cool thing, a name for us looking down at our phone. These are some of my clients who we've gotten out there. And text neck, we actually got a bunch of them. The hidden dangers of backpacks. These folks got television. They were chiropractors, and they're like, I don't know what our story is. Well, it's back to school. Let's do backpacks. We got one of our folks, U.S. News and World Report, how to cope with work-related anxiety. We took the Harry and Meghan split. So it's the hook, everybody. We took the Harry and Meghan split, and we made it so that that was the lead off for a topic on negotiation. oh, well, who's going to bite on that? Ink will bite on it. They did. So don't underestimate who will run with this.
You gotta tell them about Harry. Did you put Harry in the presentation today? Come on.
I have him further down, but I'll tell you right now about Harry. I'm going to do it out of order and see if I can find him in here. He's one of your clients, and he just joined me, I think a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago, maybe. And Fox Television in Houston has already booked him twice. This was this morning, by the way. And I'm going to show you how now in number 2. It's a freeze frame, by the way. He was more animated than that. I'm going to show you that in number 2, and that was Harry Abrahamson, and he's a financial advisor. Today he was talking about, well, the first one had something to do with
Graduates.
Kids and
Graduates.
I was going to say graduates and how they're making all the wrong mistakes, that they're told to, pay off your loans and they're not, planning for the future properly. And the 401k is not as good as, say, an IRA. And he said, oh, I have so much to say. And he was fantastic. Today's one, they wanted to know something about the stock market falling apart. And I think he did a good job of helping them and not making us all want to cry. So number 2 is this. I said 3, getting 3 steps. Number 1 took a little bit longer, and I'm going to go through numbers 2 and 3 faster. But it took longer because you need to get the press. But this is the key part in you profiting, okay? And I had asked you earlier, if it's brand building, if it's you growing your business or the Save the World, you putting the right stories out there. There are 4 ways that you need to share. This is how this works. Many people say to me all the time, Jess, I did an interview once. I know a guy, he said, I was on the Today Show. Nothing happened. Yeah, I said, well, you probably made all the biggest mistakes. The biggest one being that you thought that just by being on there, that your phone was going to start ringing like this is 1980, right? It's not 1980. It's 2020, which we'll look back and say, holy cow, what happened in 2020? These are the 4 ways you can share media. One is we want to take that, not only that image that I just showed you, but the video. We want to share it on social media. Not by patting yourself on the back, but by saying, hey, I am so grateful I got to share on this story today, on what this is all about. Now, many of you are saying, Jess, I already have a business and a life. I don't have time to sit and be on social media all day. Good news, there's a free tool that I'm not affiliated with, but I love. It's called Recurpost. And you load up stories. I always say you're loading them up in little buckets, and it will put it on LinkedIn on a certain day, on Facebook on a certain day, on Twitter on a different day. And this is where you should be sharing that. And you can share other things, obviously. You can have an inspirational quote every Wednesday, and every Monday you can have a quick little thing on what people, should be thinking financially or otherwise, as we have other folks on here. It's awesome. And then if you want deeper on digital, Jill was on the line and here talking before, so I gave her a shout out. Okay, number 1, share on social media. Number 2 for share, and this is to get ROI, return on interviews. Number 2 is email. Put it in your email marketing. Share it, use it to expand on. Hey, I got to talk about this on Fox Television or NBC or ABC. Here is what all of you should do. Hey, it made me think of you today. Here's what else I would say. Now you get to build on it. Start with massive credibility that you're on there, and then you build. Number 3, the 3rd spot to share is the wall. That's the wall behind me right now. Those are 3 places that I got myself. These days I get everybody else out there. But I'm pretty proud of it. Fortune Entrepreneur Inc. If people come into my office and they see that, it's pretty darn impressive. And when nobody's in my office, it makes me feel nice. So that's helpful. But the first part of other people seeing it, or even now on a webinar, is helpful. And there is actually on the other side of me, the New York Times article. And here's the 4th place you should put it. So this is a website of one of our media ambassadors. And we just got him ABC, NBC, Fox, and CBS. Guess what he needs to go do? Boom. He
Get a
needs to put
banner.
those logos right there on his website. So I'm going to go push him and say, did you do it yet? But, you know, I did that because I wanted him to say that get him up there. What was the whole point of doing those interviews if you can't leverage it? So it's really fantastic.
Hey, I have a
And
fifth
when
place if you're interested.
what's the fifth
Here's the fifth
place?
place. A lot of these ladies and gentlemen on this call do seminars. One of these days we may have live seminars again. You could always put this in your seminar handouts, your seminar packets, or your
Yes.
PDF that you have people download for your presentation.
Any of your marketing materials, and definitely when you're giving a presentation. I just realized I'm giving a presentation right now and I'm using them. So that's exactly it, Tammy de Leeuw. And here's one thing that we do for our clients, but you can do for you. Say somebody does a radio interview. Well, it's kind of like you can't like see it and feel it. Well, step one, we get a graphic made up. So there's one of our ambassadors, and he was on some rock station, and he does leadership training that with a sports angle for different companies. So this sports radio station was really excited to hear him talk that day, talking about how these teams could be doing a better job right now during lockdown, and how cool with his face on there and them. And we take it a step further. We take the graphic, we marry the audio to an image, and now it's a YouTube video. That's how you share. And then you share that baby everywhere. You need cool graphics to be able to show off your social proof. We live in a sharing economy. Why wouldn't you want to share all the cool stuff that you have going on? Also, when you're doing these interviews, take behind the scenes pictures. This one's not necessarily a behind the scenes picture because this client of ours got interviewed over FaceTime. But when they came to her house, when NBC came to her house, I said, hey, who can you get to take pictures of you? She said, I'm on it. My husband will now be the second camera guy. And they took all these behind the scenes pictures. And now she's listened because she's been on set and she's taking pictures there. By the way, here's Harry, who was on this morning. I did have it in here. There he is talking about the stock market and looking very cool. And what we do afterwards is we go and we grab a bunch of stills so he can share the stills as well as the video, and one where everybody's smiling, because then it looks like they had a good time, and that's what you do. All right,
being from Houston, that's
3.
pretty impressive, Jess, because Harry's from New Jersey, and they welcomed him anyway. He wasn't a
They didn't care where he's from. In fact, you know how the guy ended the interview? He said, thank you so much for your help. I know we're going to be hearing more from you. That means return interviews. So one thing I sometimes talk about is once you really help them and they get happy, you can now be in the rotation. So now we know he's in the rotation for this channel. We're going to do it with some other ones. He can do it now via Zoom right from his office. So he knows, oh, okay, yeah, in a half an hour, I don't even have to leave anymore. I'll go do the interview. All right, so I said there's 3 steps for getting media and making stuff happen. And the first one was, I should say, for using media to build your business. First one was get media. You got the hooks, you have the email, the way I showed you how to do it. Second one is share, the 4 ways to share. And number 3, this is so important, everybody, call to action. You need a call to action. So many people don't do this. So you certainly know that it would be nice to schedule an appointment on your website. Why wouldn't you somehow figure out how to plant seeds so people know they can schedule time with you? And this is some part of how I teach it, that people, you should plant seeds. Here's another one. Maybe there's a free item, a free download. In 2020, instead of the word plug, meaning you're forcing your thing, go to buy my thing, you're saying plug is actually an acronym. Properly leverage your gift. Yes, I spelled you are. Properly leverage your gift. Give them a free thing. Then they give their name and email address. Now you can market to them many times. This is how it works in 2020. And here's another thing with the calls to action. What are the next steps? If you were a doctor, you'd prescribe what I should do now that you've diagnosed the problem. And why couldn't you do all three as little seeds in an interview? This is how we get ROI, return on interviews. So to recap, we have 1, go get the media. Whoops, go get some media. I pushed the button too fast. Number 2, share it or celebrate. That's the word, so you don't have to feel like, oh, you know, I'm bragging or something. No, you're celebrating that something happened and you're sharing the importance of what happened. And the calls to action, we have to tell the audience exactly what they should do. They don't know what they should do next. They need to be told to go get your free thing or take a next step. So that brings that to the end. And Harry's one of our media ambassadors. There's some cool stuff that we've been doing. Now I hit the very end. I'm happy to take questions with the permission of the person running this, Tammy, and folks who are paying attention. I'm happy to take a couple of minutes to answer questions, but I'm also happy, as I'm peeking at my time here, to maybe just give 2 minutes and tell you what's going on with media ambassadors and how you can get it done for you if you are interested.
Please, yeah, please go ahead and tell, I've got a couple of questions, but let's tell them how they can work with you, because that was one of the questions. Okay. How can I work with Jess like Harry's doing?
I'm going to say this. I did not want to sell on this thing. I wanted to give. You can make an appointment for a quick chat with me, and I'll tell you how to do that in 1 second. But we have this thing that we came up with called Media Ambassadors, and we've been able to get people 80% more results media-wise at 80% less cost. How cool is that? It's cool. I'm going to answer my own question. And we create all these cool graphics. We actually have a guarantee. This is a problem actually with PR publicity. They charge a whole heck of a lot of money. They force you into a short amount of time, like 3 months or 6 months, and it's very unsustainable. They charge like 3 or 5 grand at the lowest level, and 10 grand if they think you're a business, meaning they think you're bringing in money per month, by the way, per month. So, it adds up fast, and we don't do that. We came up with a whole different model. So they charge a lot, they have a short amount of time, and they have no guarantee. So we flipped it over. So we guarantee, oh, by the way, that's my appointment link, appointment with Jess. If you want to chat with me, I'm happy to take it offline and do like a 10, 15-minute chat just to meet you, see if you're even somebody who, could benefit from this. Or if you're even a fit. Some people are not a fit. But we figured out how to do it for less money. So that is the expensive part. We flipped it over. We figured out how to, instead of 3 months, we actually pitch our people for 52 weeks. Every week for 52 weeks, we play a long game. And in addition to being able to do a TV interview like this via Skype and making those cool images, we have a guaranteed piece where we'll take an article of yours and we'll put you on 500 plus websites, including, you see them all on there, ABC, NBC, Fox, CBS, and we create the individual images as well. And all of those are designed to be shared, and we even give the instructions on exactly how to share it and exactly what to say and the copy that you can pull from. And of course, you can say whatever the heck you like. But we make it real easy so people just keep seeing you as the trusted advisor who's out there. This was cool. This happened like a week ago, and it seems like it's a tiny little public radio station. They said, by the way, we're sharing this with our network of 350 radio stations. So I don't know how to track that, but that's cool, and we have to figure out how to get Glenn here to talk it up. But we make those cool images so that people can promote the fact that they were everywhere. So yeah, so the heart of it is, how do you get more business? That's what we walk you through. That's my appointment link. I'll talk with people offline. Any questions that I can answer? We're right on the line. I could take a quick round.
A couple of speed rounds. Okay. Here's one: is how much more important will, and this is from Joe B. Don't know who the B is.
Hi,
But
Joby.
Joe wants to know, how much more important will digital presence and getting found by the media be now that we have the pandemic's kind of winding down? Is that going to make a difference? I think I'm going to say yes. I don't know.
Well, there are three parts to that. So how important is your digital presence? In the old days, it'd be like saying, I'm not gonna focus on being in the yellow pages, which now kids don't even sit on the yellow pages. They're not even good enough for butts. Anyway, yes, your digital presence important. Part two of that was, how important is it to the media? Well, the media wants to make sure you're the real deal, but that's not really where I think you should worry about. And I didn't show it on here, but we create this whole digital presence for our people. But I think that the digital presence is important to your right fit prospects and your clients. Those are the people who, when they're thinking about working with you, do a quick Google search and say, what comes up here? Are they the real deal? If you search for me, you're going to see there's all sorts of media articles and me on stages at conferences and other cool stuff. So, check and check.
Just at the Magic Mike conference. Yeah. No.
The Magic Mike conference.
Yeah.
I have tearaway pants on right now. Oh no, too much information. At least I wore pants to a Zoom call, everybody. This is WebEx.
Okay,
anyway,
quickly, Chuck had a question. Chuck had another question. He said, what was the last tweak you did on the email that blew everything up? It was kind of garbled in the audio.
Oh no, let's think. Which campaign was it, do you think, Tammy?
I don't know. Chuck, which campaign was it?
Let's see here. And it blew it up.
Yeah, some tweak you did to the email. So well, we can find it in a minute, or you can talk to him.
I'll tell you right now, it was probably my template. I was looking through the little list here of other slides. It was probably realizing that my template could get tighter and tighter. So just in saying, hi, first name, would this story work for you? Jess. And then they look below the line and say, whoa, what's that about? So that's how that works. Yeah, that's how that works. Any other questions?
He said it was like a third. He said it was like a third step in the emailing process.
Oh, okay. I'll tell you what. I know exactly what it is now. So I said I took the email that went out and we got all those newspapers, and then I said, what's that?
The Wiener quote. He said.
It was. It was. And then I said,
yeah.
I said, what if I just took the email? I sent it, I went to go send it again, but I hit enter a bunch of times, pushed it down. And then I wrote, wasn't sure if you saw this the other day. Did this get through? Listen closely. I do this every once in a while. Wasn't sure if you got this email the other day. Did this get through? Then you get all these people writing back saying, oh, I'm so sorry, I didn't realize. Meanwhile, they don't know. I sent it to 6,000 outlets. I sent it to 6,000, and we got 50 newspapers out of it. Not bad. I'll do that all day long. By the way, I don't always get 50 newspapers, but we do get our clients in the media every week. Not each client every week, Perfect. But that's why we play a 52-week game. Last question, and I don't want to overstay my welcome. Any other last questions?
Let's see if I get the last question. Okay, I don't think that tweak, maybe Jim was not using RE in the subject line, but that is a good tweak. That is.
It definitely, without a doubt, was that I sent it a second time, and we went from about 18 or 20 outlets to almost 50 outlets that said yes.
Perfect. Well, I wanted to thank everybody really seriously for being on the call. A lot of you don't know me. Hopefully I can make that go away too, because Jess will get me some free PR also. But he's very good to work with. I was really impressed when I referred him Harry Abramson, and he was able to get that interview. Again, I think the takeaway I got, Jess, was that you can't just, it's like the old days when you could put up a website back in the 80s and everyone it would just be like a bunch of traffic. But nowadays it's harder and harder to leverage stuff unless you put an effort into it and then integrate it. So I think that was the best part of the presentation, and I want to thank you again. Where do we, oh, here's a question that's really pertinent. How do I get my media contacts you were talking about in the video?
The couple of people who came in early, I said, I'm going to give you something special.
Oh, what about the people on the video they're
You know what?
talking
If
about?
anybody is still on and you just want those media contacts, I have to go look them up in my computer. I didn't plan on giving stuff away, but I said, I'll give you some contacts to the Wall Street Journal, Barron's, I'll throw in USA Today. I just have to look through my computer. So send me an email, jess@mediaambassadorsplural.com, Jess, Jess, at mediaambassadorsplural.com, and I'll make a little email. Just give me a couple hours because I have to call somebody in a little bit, but I will send it to you today. How about that? Now it's on me to make sure I follow through on my word.
Perfect. And thank you. And I have one last question before you go. Is would it help to send a media clip if you've already got some media, right? Would it help to send a media clip to a new group of journalists, for example? I guess they're saying, as an example, here's what I can do.
So if you have a clip of you on TV, you know who will be interested in seeing that? Radio and print people. It can still be over on your website because the TV person, once they like the story, then they see, oh, okay, oh, this person is good on camera. Okay, good, I can rest easily. That's how that works. So it's usually the other two, types of media will look and be impressed by that. That's how it works.
Perfect. All right. Thanks, Jess, again, for your time. Anybody who really wants to do this and is serious about it, I can wholeheartedly recommend Jess. He'll do everything for you except put the makeup on himself, and he'll get it going. So yeah, he might even do that if you meet him live. I think I sent a guy to you many years ago to New York, and he took speaker training from you, and I think you guys did makeup and everything on the guy. So anyway, thanks everybody for being here. If you have if you have questions and you want to contact me, I also sort of do some of these little things that I can help you with or answer questions. My number is 951-658-0492. That is my office number, and I'm here in California. So thanks, Jess. Go get yourself some lunch, and we will talk again soon. Thanks so much. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks for having
Take care. Bye-bye.